The deep, stagnant waters of the Portal Hunting Club in Riceboro, Georgia, do not give up secrets easily. On December 2nd, 2022, the silence of these woods, a desolate stretch near the border of Liberty and McIntyre counties, was broken by a group of hunters. They weren't looking for what they found in a muddy ditch, a partial torso of a human being. Over the next 5 days, investigators from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation would scour a 3-mile radius, uncovering a macabre trail of remains scattered through the swamp. Beside the remains lay a black Husky storage tote, a razor-sharp Milwaukee brand fixed-blade knife, and a pile of discarded cleaning wipes. For months, the woman in the swamp was a ghost. GBI forensic artist Kelly Lawson created sketches of a woman with shoulder-length brown hair and a single tooth implant. When those sketches were released to the public, a woman 500 miles away in Virginia, named Heather Thomas, felt a chill of recognition. She called the authorities with a name, Mindi Kassotis. But there was a problem. When Mindi's friends and family heard the news, they were beyond stunned. They were confused. They had already mourned Mindi. Her husband, Nicholas Kassotis, a decorated former Navy Judge Advocate General, JAG officer, and Pentagon lawyer, had told them she died 5 months earlier in the hospital after a sudden medical emergency. According to the man she trusted most, Mindi Kassotis had already been cremated. The world was about to learn that Mindi was the woman who had died twice. Before she became a forensic mystery, Mindi was a woman dedicated to the power of voice. She was a writer, a business owner, and the host of the Compelling Women podcast. Her episodes were filled with interviews meant to elevate and empower. In 2016, friends believed she had found her own empowerment when she married Nicholas. He was the quintessential alpha, a high-achieving military lawyer who had served in Italy and the Pentagon. To Mindi's inner circle, it looked like a fairy tale ending, but behind the polished uniform and the Compelling Women archives, a dark architecture of control was being built. The marriage was not a sanctuary, it was a sequestered cell. Nicholas utilized his military background to weave a web of high-stakes paranoia. He convinced Mindi that because of his past work with sensitive Afghanistan cases, they were being targeted by terrorist groups and hackers. He claimed their bank accounts were frozen, their mail was intercepted, and they were under constant surveillance. The gaslighting was surgical. Nicholas forced Mindi to communicate almost exclusively through the encrypted Signal app for security. He pointed out tree surgeons working near their home, claiming they were actually undercover agents planting cameras to watch her every move. He invented a handler, a phantom FBI agent named Jim McIntyre, who allegedly dictated when they had to move, where they had to sleep, and who they could talk to. By June 2022, the woman who interviewed the world's most compelling figures was too terrified to leave her own house in Savannah. The motive for this elaborate prison was grounded in a far more mundane reality, a $1.5 million divorce judgment Nicholas owed to his first wife, Heather. Instead of paying, Nicholas chose to disappear into a parallel reality of his own making, dragging Mindi with him. In late 2022, Mindi told friends she was finally pregnant, a glimmer of hope in a life lived on the run. But the autopsy would later prove there was no baby. Prosecutors believe that when Nicholas realized the pregnancy was a lie, perhaps Mindi's final, desperate attempt to keep him from leaving, he snapped. In November 2022, Mindi vanished. Nicholas sent an email to her parents from a fake tech company security department, coldly informing them that Nicholas had died in a car crash. He told others Mindi had suffered a massive stroke in a non-traditional hospital and was gone. He even took the time to go to a car wash and buy beer just hours after he claimed his wife had passed. While Mindi's family was reeling from the news of her death, Nicholas was already 600 miles away in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, living under a new name, Nicholas Stark. He had already started courting a new woman, Samantha Kolesnik, a writer of horror fiction. He told Samantha he was a tragic widower whose wife and unborn child had died years prior. The irony was as sharp as a blade. While Samantha was writing fictional horrors, she was falling in love with a man who had just committed a real one. They were married in April 2023, just months months after Mindi's remains were left in the Georgia mud. The deception began to unravel on May 11, 2023. Using investigative genetic genealogy, the FBI and GBI matched the DNA from the Riceboro swamp to Mindi's family. The next day, a tactical team descended on Lancaster. Nicholas Stark, the grieving widower, the aspiring writer, was revealed to be Mindi Kassotis, a fugitive and a killer. The trial in August 2025 was a final showdown between Nicholas's manufactured reality and the cold, hard facts of forensic science. Nicholas took the stand in his own defense, a move that usually signals a desperate ego. He clung to the story of Jim McIntyre, the mystery FBI agent, claiming he was just a victim of the handler's orders. He insisted he could never have dismembered Mindi because he had a phobia of blood. The prosecution countered with a mountain of digital and physical evidence. They showed surveillance footage from a Home Depot where Nicholas was seen casually carrying the exact brand of Milwaukee knife found at the crime scene. They tracked his car's GPS directly to the swamp and highlighted a 2-hour blackout period where he had turned off his phone while dumping the remains. Forensic entomologists testified that the maggots found on Mindi's body proved she had died exactly when Nicholas claimed she was in the hospital. The jury didn't need long. After just over an hour of deliberation, they found Mindi Kassotis guilty on all 12 counts, including malice murder. At his sentencing, the emotional weight of his double life was laid bare. Samantha Kolesnik, the wife he married under a fake name, provided a statement saying she felt raped by his deception. Mindi's mother, Betsy, wept as she recalled being told her daughter was not coming home. Judge Charles Rose, before sentencing Nicholas to life without the possibility of parole plus 25 years, called the crime a level of depravity that shocks the conscience. Nicholas had spent years using his legal mind to create a world of phantoms and fear. But in the end, it was a single tooth implant, a store-bought knife, and the DNA of a woman he tried to erase that brought the truth back from the swamp. Mindi Kassotis' voice, once silenced in the archives of her podcast, was finally heard in the halls of justice.